Hi, my name's Aaron Curry, and in this video I'm going to tell you about a high demand and low competition opportunity to make £25,000 profit from one house, starting with none of your own money, and how you can manage it with only 5 minutes a week. And I know that sounds unbelievable, and I know that sounds too good to be true. And that's exactly what I stumbled upon when I became an accidental landlord back in 2015 in this particular strategy. What happened next exceeded all of my property expectations. And having had 200 properties already and being a 20-year property veteran, I didn't think that anything could surprise me anymore. And this shocked me because of the huge profits with virtually no work. The results were so good that I went and did some digging to find out if this was a total fluke or if I should start buying more of these high cash flow houses. And what I discovered is a booming trend, a massively booming trend. And right now you can jump on this booming trend when there's virtually no competition out there. This is your chance to step into the DeLorean. You know, if you're a film connoisseur, the DeLorean to take you back in time. This is your chance to go back in time and buy Apple stock back in 1980 before it boomed as it did. That's exactly where this trend is right now, at the beginning of a massive booming trend. Just think how that would transform the quality of your life. What I'm going to share with you today is that powerful. Now, today's video is the second in a 4-part series. In the first video, I revealed the little known property trend that replaces your salary with one house. And if you haven't seen it yet, then please stop this video and click the link below me to watch video number 1 right now. So if you haven't seen it, go watch that and then come back here, okay? In today's video, I'm going to show you how I turned a rundown B&B, bed and breakfast, into a holiday let that puts £25,000 of profit into my pocket with only 5 minutes a week of my time. That's £25,000 a year. And I'll show you the simple 3-step system and the 4 people that make this possible. First, let me tell you about the rundown B&B that I bought back in 2012 and the costly mistake that I made before I discovered this booming holiday trend. So before we go any further, I'd just like to explain why the video quality is not what I would want it to be. We're starting to come out of lockdown at the moment, and we still need to keep our distance from each other. So I'm not able to work with a videographer just yet. So it's literally just me with my spaceship headphones on, sat in front of a webcam, recording this and sharing this with you. So if you want to know about a high demand and low competition opportunity to make £25,000 profit from one house, starting with none of your money, and how you can manage it all with just 5 minutes a week, and the information is more important to you than video quality, then you'll love this 4-part video series. So let's go back. It's 2012, and I found a rundown B&B, bed and breakfast for sale, and this is in Scarborough, North Yorkshire on the East Coast. And the owners were 3 sisters, 3 elderly sisters living in Leeds, which is about 70 miles away from Scarborough. And what they'd done, they'd taken an old B&B and they turned it into an illegal HMO, House of Multiple Occupation. They didn't have an HMO license. It literally was illegal. Not all the rooms would meet the minimum room size allowance, and the sound insulation would fail a real simple test. They had 8 tenants in there aged between 40 and 60 living in this dilapidated property. The tenants were all single men that had kind of fallen onto hard times. And the HMO was run by this fierce woman. She lived there for free, and she kind of ran the property and kind of made sure all these people paid and just kept it ticking over. And the 3 sisters had literally run the property like this for the last 12 years. 12 years. When I found it, it didn't meet any of the HMO regulations. The rooms were too small. The electrics hadn't been looked at for 15 years, and the boiler didn't work properly. In fact, I can honestly say I've never seen a central heating system like that before now or since. Okay, and there was still a bar downstairs from the B&B days. It didn't have any alcohol in it, but there was the bar there and the shape there and everything else. The house was a complete mess. You can picture it. And the purchase process matched the chaos of the house. Okay, they basically put it up for sale. They got no interest at all. So the sisters then tried to sell it with closed bids. They offered it on a closed bids situation, and that means you put your bid in an envelope, sealed envelope, and you hand it in. Okay, and our maximum bid was £131,101, and we got it. We got the property because we bid the extra 101 more than the next person. Okay, that £101 was the crucial difference. Okay. Now, because the house was so run down, I used a strategy that I knew about. I'm not going to teach it in detail now, called delayed completion, where we basically took control of the property for 3 months, but we had 3 months to do a refurb on the property. It was a 30,000 refurb that needed doing. And then we could go to a commercial lender, a high street bank, and we could get a mortgage based on the new valuation rather than the purchase price. Okay. Now, the problem was time. We literally had 3 months to get the refurbishment done, get the valuer back in to value it done up, and then get the mortgage offer out, the commercial offer out, and get the property completed. And if we didn't complete by the date that we'd agreed, we'd lose the house and we'd lose the £30,000 of refurb work that we'd done. Okay. So the timeline was tight, and we kind of made it work by the skin of our teeth. The £30,000 that I needed to do the property up, the deal, the money I needed for the deal was done with somebody else's money. And then we got the mortgage through, as I say, on the newly refurbished property valued at 180. And that gave me enough money to be able to complete the purchase and to pay back our JV partner. So that's how we set up an 11-bed legal HMO with none of our own money. Now, back then, you could have tenants stay on a license rather than a tenancy agreement, as long as you provided breakfast, okay, which was cornflakes and some crisps or something like that. It was cornflakes, a bit of milk, a bit of tea bags. So, because you could say you were like a B&B. At a B&B, you sleep somewhere on the night and you provide breakfast. So that meant that legally we had guests and not tenants. Okay, the benefit of a guest is you can kick them out if they don't pay. Okay, you can't do with that with tenants. There's a whole process that you have to go through. But even with that safety net in place, it was still a massive hassle. There were 11 guys sharing this property. There was somebody always kicking off. There was people in there with mental health issues. There was people that would fall out with each other. One of the tenants always falling out with somebody else. And my first JV partner, Mark, who I've got a lot of properties with, he was managing the property. And after 3.5 years of all of this hassle, he had had enough. And he wanted to walk away from this deal. Now, by the time Mark wanted to walk away from the HMO, I discovered holiday lets, okay, which I shared with you in the first video in this series. And I knew they were a low risk, high profit, and virtually zero time investment strategy. How cool is that? Low risk, high profit, zero time investment strategy. And I knew that this property would work far better than the dream house I taught you about in video number 1 as a holiday let, because it cost a lot less. The actual property was worth a lot less. So therefore the profit in it was more. So I bought Mark out of the deal with some other JV money. And they also lent me £50,000 to turn the HMO into a holiday let. Now, of course, with hindsight, I wouldn't have spent the money to turn it into a legal HMO and then more money to turn it into a holiday let. I'd have gone straight to holiday let. But I didn't have that hindsight back then. I didn't have that knowledge. But I got £50,000. I turned this HMO into a holiday let. Again, it's somebody else's money, not mine. This increases the value of the property to £300,000. I go back and get a mortgage based on the new value, 75% of the new value, and I have enough money to pay off the old mortgage and to pay off the JV partner that gave me the £50,000 to be able to do it up. So literally, no money into this deal. I now own the deal fully in my name. It's worth £300,000. It's got a mortgage of £225,000, and it's a holiday let. Once the house was set up as a holiday let, I got other people to manage it for me, and it puts £25,000 into my pocket every year with only 5 minutes a week of my time. Here's how. Here's my simple 5-step system to make £25,000 from one house with only 5 minutes a week of your time. Number one, find the right house. It's got to be the right house. Number two, furnish it. Number three, let somebody else manage it. Number four, enjoy your life. Number five, repeat the process. It literally is that. Find the right house, furnish it, let somebody else manage it, enjoy your life, repeat the process. Okay, now I know the last two steps are optional. You don't have to enjoy your life if you don't want. You don't have to repeat. One house might be enough for you. You don't have to repeat. But I've put them in to emphasize the point. This is an investment strategy. People always think it's a job, but you set this up correctly in the right way. This is an investment strategy. I'm 2.5 hours from all of my properties. You know, I don't go to them. I haven't been to them for a long time. This is an investment strategy. You set this up correctly, and then you can sit back and enjoy your life. Now, in the next video in this series, I'm going to show you how to find the right house. That first step, how to find the right house, okay? But for the rest of today's video, I'm going to show you how you let somebody else manage it for you, okay? Now, the truth is that you need 4 people to manage your property, 4. The first and most important is a company that will get you bookings. This is where the money comes from. This is what creates the revenue. This is the engine that makes everything else possible. Without a powerful engine, this cash machine grinds to a halt fast. So the company that I use specialize in holiday lets. They've got the experience and the systems to inspire trust. Their system is so accurate that they can tell you how many weeks a year they'll rent your property for and the amount they'll rent it for different times of the year. And their system is so accurate that over a year, within £1,000, it will be totally accurate. Within £1,000. So you've got a property, they're telling you they're going to rent it for 44 weeks and it's going to make you £70,000 in the next year of revenue. You know within £1,000 that's going to come in and be correct because they're managing thousands of properties. They've got the algorithms in place for their marketing. They know exactly what they're going to deliver. And that is what makes this system so low risk. You know before you buy the property, before you buy a single piece of furniture, what the property is going to rent for. Before you put a single penny over the line or put somebody else's money like I did in this over the line, you know what it's going to rent for. You can do the numbers. Now, why should you believe the company that are going to rent your house? Isn't it in their interest to overpromise and under-deliver? That's exactly what I thought at the start of my holiday let journey. Oh, they'll promise me that to suck me in and then they'll under-deliver. Remember, I was renting out my dream house and I was terrified I'd lose money by keeping the dream house and doing this brand new strategy to me. But what settled my nerves back then and what should settle yours was learning that the banks use this company's projections to value a property for rental value. You see, banks value a buy-to-let property on bricks and mortar value. So they go value the property, it's valued on bricks and mortar. If we had to resell this, what's it worth? They can value HMOs. They can look at the commercial value of an HMO. They can say, well, what's the rental coming in? So as well as the bricks and mortar, there's some value in the business that's been set up in here. And they value holiday let properties on the commercial value too. A commercial property value is a multiple of the income. Okay, so it's the bricks and mortar plus the income coming in that affects that. So to give you a property value, they need to know the income. The income's a critical piece to them. Now, the specialist holiday let booking company that I use have the system experience that's so good that the banks ask them to provide income valuations, okay? Because their normal valuer they send out is a specialist at valuing residential houses or buy-to-lets. They're not a specialist at working out holiday let incomes. But the company I use, they're used in that exact way by the banks. So if the most conservative organization in the world, the banks, trust this company, then so should I. And I'm glad that I did, because the results that they've gotten me over the last 5 years had exceeded my wildest dreams. So step one is to find a company that will get you the bookings. That deals with that side of things. They deal with all the bookings, taking all the money, it's all dealt with. The second thing that you need is a cleaner. Now, I say cleaner What I really mean is a cleaning team. You know, if you've got a big property like I'm talking about here, you need a team of 4 to turn it around fast. You have the guests leaving Friday morning, 10 a.m. The next guests are coming in at 3 p.m. that afternoon. You've only got a few hours to turn this round. So you're not going to ask your personal cleaner of your own home to do this, okay? You're not going to say, can you clean the holiday let as well? You need a cleaning company. Now, don't use a national chain. You know, you always pay extra for the national chains. You should use a local company and you'll save yourself a fortune. Now, here are the 3 questions that you must ask before booking a cleaning company, okay? This is step by step. First of all, you want to make sure that they have the same values as you. Get face-to-face with them, spend time with them. Here's the thing when you work with other people, I give you a guarantee. Something will always go wrong. Most people forget this. They get in a relationship with somebody and they expect it to be perfect. They expect the other person to deliver perfection. Something will go wrong. Things will go wrong. Things you haven't even thought about will happen, okay? If you've got the same values, you approach when something goes wrong together in the same way. Even if you wouldn't have the exact same solution, you have similar solutions. So you get to a great outcome. Okay, by the way, this works not just in holiday, this is life. Anyone you're going to go into business with. In fact, your spouse or loved one you're going to spend your life with. Check you have the same values, because if you don't, might be a lot of lust there, might look like a good relationship up front. In business, it might be a lot of lust for the money. But if you have different values when you hit your problems, you don't deal with them in the same way, massive problem. Massive problem, because then you lose trust, okay? So make sure, get face-to-face with them, just spend some time with them. Do you enjoy them, their company? Do you have similar values? Second question, the second thing is, do they specialize in holiday lets? It's a different type of a clean. You're cleaning to a different standard. It's a different type of setup, a different type of organization that's needed. So do they specialize in holiday lets? Third question, do they go the extra mile and take testimonial from other holiday let people that they clean for? Okay. If they don't specialize in holiday lets, they've been ruled out anyway. Go take testimonial, go speak to those people. Do they know how to look after holiday lets, and do they go the extra mile? Okay, so really simple. Do they have the same values? Do they specialize in holiday lets, and do they go the extra mile? With a holiday let, there are always, for example, small maintenance issues to deal with. For example, broken wine glasses. 16 people stayed there, they've had a few drinks, some wine glasses get broken, okay? Or they knock something off the wall, or they damage a chest of drawers. You know, you need to make it the cleaner's responsibility to deal with those issues. Literally, can you clean? But if there's little small things, can you just deal with it? Just go get some more wine glasses, or just replace the chest of drawers, okay? Now, I give my cleaners a sign-off limit of £150. So anything above that level, and I get a WhatsApp message, okay? But anything below that level, I trust them to just sort it. Remember, this business is making me £25,000 or £30,000 from one property every year. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. And £100 is the small stuff in those types of numbers. So anything below that level, I just trust them to sort it. And that trust and that empowerment gives them a great feeling as well as me. And it means I don't need to be contacted. The third person you need is a maintenance person. Now, that's someone who can, go and fix the sink or the taps when they've been broken. That's somebody that can repair a damaged door. That someone can jump on and repair things. And if they don't have the skill set as the handy person, they know who to bring in. So they bring in the relevant people. Now, the cleaner and the handy person, they need to work together. If the cleaner discovers there's a broken kitchen door, she calls the handy person, not me. If the repair bill is over the sign-off limit for the handy person, that's a £300 sign-off limit for them, then the handy person sends me a WhatsApp message. So can you see why I get so few messages from my team? Somebody would have had to trash the joint for them to be going above those limits and them having to contact me. And then we want to deal with it to get them to the people that say they're to pay for it anyway. But otherwise, the team know their limits. They know their roles and responsibilities. They know who to call or contact when something needs fixing, and they know their sign-off limit. So it's only when there is a complex or expensive problem that they call me. Outside of that, they solve problems themselves. Now, there's one more person that you need to run a holiday let, and I call that person the PA, okay? This person deals with all the customer, the guest communication. This is the person that calls the customer 4 weeks before they stay and says, hey, we're so excited to have you come and stay. If you call someone with excitement, it will just reignite their excitement because they're already excited, but call them with excitement. We're so excited to come and have you stay. They send out a template email that links them to the Facebook group for the property so they can see pictures of the property and people that have stayed there before and all the fun that they've had, okay? And they ask them how they want their bed layout, okay? And then if they get a reply and they want their beds a certain way, they let the cleaning team know so they can set it up. You're not involved, okay? And then a week before the customer stays, there's a template text message that goes, and then again the day before. This is also the person that takes the calls, you know, at 9 p.m. when they show up and they can't find the key box to get in. They call the PA, or they don't know how to turn the heating system in. They call the PA. The second person they call if they can't get hold of the PA, the handy person. Okay, not you, not you. So the PA role is a critical one because they need to be a caring person. After all, their role is about making the customer's experience better. If there's a problem at the property, then the customer calls the PA. The PA then calls the handy person. Again, the PA only calls me if there's a problem that specifically needs my attention. You know, the final thing the PA does is ask the guest for a review after their stay. Reviews are critical for any online purchase these days, especially when 16 people are going to all stay at one place. You know, sometimes they're flying in from all over the world to spend this dream time together. Then they need to know the house is as good as it looks in the pictures. You know, let me just share some of the reviews that I've got from my holiday lets. Okay, look at this first one. Absolutely superb. The sun shone in late November. I can't admit to making that happen. That was the world. It was my 70th birthday celebration with family and friends. There were 16 adults, 1 child and a toddler. Everyone was delighted with their rooms and the whole layout of the property. We did take 2 beanbags with us so we could all get in one living room for my birthday night. As usual, the kitchen was the hub of the property. We had a slight problem with a wheelchair until we found the best way was through the stable door in the dining room. No step there. The hot tub was great. A great place for family celebration. You know, imagine how magical it is, by the way, when you get reviews like this. Second review, Stainton Lodge is so spacious and comfortable that everybody could enjoy a great holiday. Location within easy reach of the coast, the moors and York meant that we were spoilt for choice of days out. And there was much more to see, which we didn't have time to fit in. Fantastic house for large groups, great kitchen facilities, lovely big dining room, bedrooms, all comfortable, 2 good-sized living rooms, and the hot tub was a great bonus. 15 of my friends and I stayed here for the weekend for my 60th birthday. It was everything more we could have expected. Are you seeing this multi-generational trend here, by the way? Okay. Apart from the lodge itself and the grounds, the Peacock Inn and local fish shop were welcoming and friendly. I would come again in a heartbeat, especially the thought of Christmas in the dining room and all sat around the log fire. Awesome messages to receive. You won't get those messages unless you ask, and that's the PA's responsibility, and then that helps the booking team to book even more bookings. So they're the four people in your team that run your holiday let. Number 1, the specialist booking company. Number 2, the cleaning company. Number 3, the handy person. And number 4, the PA. And with clear roles and responsibilities and communication channels for when something needs fixing and clear sign-off limits, your input will not be necessary. And when you know what you're doing, recruiting these people and putting them in place, just following the key questions to put the right people in place, your input, once they're set up, will not be necessary. Thanks to those things, I literally run my 3 holiday lets with only 3 WhatsApp messages a week. 3 WhatsApp messages a week on average. In other words, they run themselves, and they put £25,000 to £30,000 per property in my pocket. So how many holiday lets do you want if you can buy them with other people's money and manage them with other people's time? How many would you like? How many holiday lets would you need to be able to quit your job right now? How many holiday lets would you need for property to pay for the luxuries you want and give you an exciting future? Please write those 3 numbers down. So pause the video right now and put the answers somewhere you will see them every day. So how many holiday lets do you want? Write that down. I want 4 holiday lets, 1 holiday let, 2 holiday lets. Second question, how many holiday lets would you need to quit your job? I need 1 holiday let to quit my job. I need 3 holiday lets to quit my job. Depends on your income. Remember that £25,000 to £30,000 is profit. That's net profit, okay? How many holiday lets would you need for property to pay for the luxuries you want and give you an exciting future? I need X holiday lets to pay for the properties to pay for the luxuries I want and give me an exciting future. Write that number down. In the next video in this series, remember, I'm going to show you how to buy the right holiday let property. That step of buying the right one. Okay, that's the next video in this series. Look out for it in the next couple of days. Until then, look after yourself, look after the people you love, and invest with knowledge, invest with confidence, create financial freedom. Thanks ever so much for listening. Thank you.